banging cells.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this week's Goals Eye View, brought to you by Galaxy TQ. Kelly's Corner.
It's official.
Yeah, not sponsored by ice cream yet, but here we go.
No jingle either.
We've put some questions out and all that kind of stuff. Tom, take it away.
Yes. So again, we've kind of just put it to the Yellow Army. Thank you to those who responded in quite short notice, but
yeah,
once again, we really do appreciate the support. So let's have a look. Richard Glynn on Facebook says he's not sure if we can discuss this, but is there a darker side to what's going on at the club beyond our initial suspicion about making a buck from a housing development and leaving us homeless? What he means is it possible the club is maybe being used for money laundering vehicle or a betting syndicate?
I mean, you never know, do you? We all know what we think of present regimes and the past of Clark Osborne. You can't rule it out, can you? I mean, and this is just any football club at this stage. It is an interesting one because I keep thinking, oh, they're going to pull the plug, and then they go, oh, here's a budget for this season. We're keeping Gary Johnson on, who will be on a quite a healthy wage in this division. So it is an interesting one. I always sit here ready for it all to go completely wrong, but whilst it's not, just got to keep going. I'm not confident.
They surely see, the level of support. They must see the level of support we get, and I mean, he puts the money in. Whether we, we can be as critical as we want.
Whether it's his money or not, whether it's just debt money. So as they say, asset money, but I don't know enough of that stuff. But like, yeah, I know what you mean. I'm never confident though. I'm never confident.
No, I just, it'd be nice if he could come to a couple of games, and just that never happened. I think he's only been to one, hasn't he? That's the playoff final.
As long as he's not trying to scraps of our own fans and all that.
But, he continues to invest, and granted, we owe him millions and millions and millions of pounds now. At the end of the day, he's putting the money in. I mean, obviously, he should be rightly held to account on a number of things, but he's just got to keep going until he's had enough, or something comes up and he turns out he's using it as laundering, but I don't think he is.
No, I won't make that accusation. I just think he's a wise businessman, but I don't think he'll have of course, don't have the best intentions in some ways. Yeah, a football fan wants to see their football owner, being like, let's win the league, let's do that, and he has been from some sense. But you know what I mean? They want to see them in behind, but at the end of the day, still getting supported financially in one way or another. So we could do fixing the seats on the family stand, and the food situation, and improving the match.
Yeah, although they're now
you can get to in a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can pay with card now in the pop side.
That is, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until yesterday. Not that
I must have watched that video because the amount of times I've complained about that. But no. Okay, that's interesting. Fair enough. No, that is bringing the club into the 21st century. Well done.
They are listening slowly, aren't they?
They do listen slowly at the end of the day. But the point of for me, the first home game, maybe first two, are the most crucial from the business point of view. Yeah. Because a lot of you more casual, let's go and see what Torquay United doing. People will go in the summer holidays, all that kind of thing. And what was it, 2000? And it's not cheap now either. And to be battered 3-0 in the Vanarama South, that's going to turn a lot of people away. So they will be sat there going, crikey, especially when attendance starts to go down.
I must say, I was very surprised that we had 2,000 last night. I was expecting a lot less than that.
Yeah, no.
Whether there were 2,000 in there, I don't know. But
yeah, but no, I think they will be sat there going, and that's why maybe they will look at things elsewhere. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, good point. But I think, you're right. Thanks for that question.
Yep. So on to Craig Hughes, who says he wants us to discuss about the fitness of the team and why we keep picking up so many injuries and rushing players back all of the time. That seems to be the hallmark of Gary Johnson's tenure, really, at Torquay United, at least in the last couple of years.
It is very true. It's not a new conversation, is it? Because as you say, Craig, we've had it a lot. I always think of the Liam Davies podcast on Talking Torquay about a year or two ago, and he's talking about the kind of fitness, and it is just a Gary Johnson trait. He likes to get people fit and running all the time, and sometimes it's a bit too much, and that means we we rush people back. Also, in fairness, in Gary Johnson's point, we don't have an under-23s team where we can just put a team like a Premier League one, I'll give him 90 minutes, 45 minutes in the reserve game, get his match sharpness and fitness up. We don't have that option. So that also doesn't help things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we also sign veteran players who are injury prone, but that's probably the biggest one.
I mean, you look at last season, you know, Andrews came in, wasn't fit. I mean, you could, you know, I need to get my toes out and count the amount of players that have come into Torquay United and haven't been fit from the get-go. I mean, when Moxie came on Saturday, he went down or he overstretched, and it was like, oh god, he's done something, and he played on, bless him, but he wasn't right. And you do wonder if moments like that where he's now gone from potentially being, you know, 50-60% fit, and now he's back to injured again, and he's a big mess as well.
I love Moxie and Hall. I really love them in the Torquay shirt, but you've put in quite a bit of your financial budget again on players who are a year older now than when they were last season.
Not having someone in mind of what if they're injured,
and then you're stuck with the players that Gary Johnson signed who are clearly not good enough. And there's only one man to blame, because you know they're still a decent enough budget to do anything, you know. And this is the problem we're having. Like, all right, if they have injuries here and there, and you can't really help Acel's injury last night, but we're just going around in circles again. But the problem's getting worse, and we're not replacing them on the pitch either.
I mean, let's look at last night. Didn't Marshall pick up a knock?
Yeah,
that's why he went off.
Cramp for Martin and Marshall.
Martin cramp, but
also, we've got to say, Dan Martin, absolutely fantastic last night.
Yeah,
he was back to his best. The passion he put in, some of the skill on the ball. I felt in the first half, it was only him and Lapsley and maybe the defence three that had that intensity. I didn't like how Lewis Collins wasn't going in for 50-50. It's just stuff like that. The pressing was the most non-existent press I've ever seen from a Gary Johnson side last night.
Should have seen it on Saturday, mate.
Yeah, then that's when, for me, I sat there going, at half time, I went, we're in trouble here because the players aren't pressing for him, and that usually like last season that never happened.
And how many times did they get? How many times during stoppages did they go over and have a chat with Gary Johnson? It was at least 5 or 6, from what I could count. I don't know. It's the players we've got should be doing a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
My opinion, though. Yeah. Next question.
We've kind of covered it already, but Ross Warner says the Johnson out during the game, get behind the team, then do it at full time if need be. I mean, yeah, we've covered that already. Absolutely agree. There's a time and a place for it. At the end of the day, as much as we love Torquay United Football Club, we all want the team to do well. You may not like the management, you may not like the ownership, but there is times and place for that. Just try and support the team as best you can during the 90 minutes or 100 minutes now with all this injury time. It's be united, you know, support the lads.
Yeah.
And then if we're 3-0 down to Worthing or we're losing 4-0, then
I understand. I agree.
Then go vent on social media. Helps. Very much helps.
Or start a football podcast.
Leon Harper says, are you all Johnson out or in, and what is your reasoning?
I'm more against. I'm not convinced of Johnson at all. In my opinion, he should have gone with last season multiple times. Just a fresh start, more than anything. I really like Gary Johnson. I'm a big fan of him still as a person, as a manager. But I think his time's come many times. After Worthing, I was like, and then even last night. Still now at this point, it depends on the next 2 games. Has to have 2 very big positive results in the next 2 games. Else the pressure's really on. I also think in these fresh start, at the end of the day, we're 3 games into the season. We've backed him again. I'm not convinced by him at the moment. He needed to convince me personally from the start that, you know, I don't need to be convinced by Gary Johnson as a manager or as a person. Just sometimes you need fresh starts. And it hasn't started well. Next 2 games, I'll come back to you basically on that, is my opinion.
Well, I must say I'm very much Johnson out. There was no excuse to start slow this season, and we had to have a good start. And of course, maybe in the next 2 games, we get 2 wins there, then you could argue maybe it's not been the worst start in the world, but
it's not
I
been
just
good. It's
look at
not good
it.
enough to have 10 points, 5 games. I'm not saying that. I just think that realistically, as a football club, when you've gone right, yeah, you're going to be the manager next season. And if you're getting like 8, 10 points, it's like, right, no, it's not good enough. Just about scraped it at 10 points. So let's keep moving now. It just seems a bit like, well, you've hired me to sack you 3 games into the season.
Well, we sacked Nicholson after 4, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That's what I'm saying. If we lose at St Albans, no,
And
that'd be
that
me and done. If we went, if
watch
we'd
it.
gone like last night after, if we drew last night, or if So Johnson out still, that wins literally scraped it for me. Just having a bit of sort of like familiarity in the 4-4-2 and actually changing it, which again, you shouldn't have started with the season with 3-5-2 if it was going to be such a disaster. But we've got to keep moving forwards.
That Worthing game, I was watching it and it was just like, I
I
can't believe we're the full-time professional outfit.
That's embarrassing.
That was embarrassing. I couldn't believe that we didn't have any plan B. I couldn't believe that we were just gifting them so much space. And how many times have we seen that in the past? It was almost like going back to sort of, what was it? Sort of just the end of February, beginning of March, where we just looked hopeless. We were just gifting easy chances. And poor Mark Halstead, I mean, he did his absolute best as he, has done in the last year, but it was just pathetic to watch. And he just didn't, it annoys me again that when we win, he'll come over, he'll take all the credit. When we don't win and when we lose badly, he just buggers off and lets Aaron Downs take all the flack. And that's, you got to take the wins and the defeats together. You got to, whatever the result, you've always got to, in my opinion anyway, you should always come over and clap the fans. And I don't know, I just don't like the fact that he runs away a lot. And then he had the audacity to he had to go at the referee on Saturday for something. And it was like, come on, Gary, and he's had, this summer, he's had the players that he ideally wanted.
Yeah.
He's come out and said, we didn't expect to have all these people say yes. So, and then you look at pre-season compared to now, it's like pre-season, we were motoring, we looked so much fitter. I mean, we all said it, didn't we? It's almost like we're 10 games into the season.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened since then. And it's just hard to watch, mate. And I mean, personally, I think it needs a whole fresh set of eyes. Get rid of Downs, get rid of Johnson. I think it needs a young blood in there.
But my point is, realistically, from a business point of view, that should have happened last season. It should have happened in pre-season. We're 3 games in, we just won. Right now, this very moment, it's like, right, you're here in my mind by this game. If you don't get an improvement in the next 2-3 games, no. But what can you say? I'm not confident going forward. Of course, I'm not. But right after last night, it's like, right, at least a bit more solid in some ways. We in the second half we showed glimpses, got the result, played some better football. Let's just see what we can do. There's 2 very now difficult games at the weekend, and then next weekend. Any other questions?
Yeah, one more. Stephen Bagcott would like us to discuss the lack of defence.
As in just no defensive shape, or just the lack of defenders?
Just the state of our defensive issues at the moment.
Very poor.
Yeah,
very poor. Again, obviously I wasn't at the Worthing game, but he spoke about the better. But I don't understand how, with all where we are, and with Aaron Downs and that, how we were that poor as at any standard. It was just embarrassing. We need another experienced defender, but we've paid a wage to Dean Moxey, who, if he's not going to be fit, what are we going to do? We're going to have to get another loan.
And I thought playing the likes of, the Southampton under,
what was 21. The point? If we're not getting anyone on loan, what's the point? Just played someone where we could get used to playing a Conference South or Southern Premier League standard team.
Be interesting to see if we get any sort of late incomings for the weekend.
What was one of that? Didn't Moxey get injured in that game anyway?
Something like that, didn't he? I don't know, mate. It was just hard to watch. And at least, last night we were again more stable at the back, but again, that wasn't really saying much. It was Chippenham. There'll be harder opponents than Chippenham.
I agree. There will be.
No disrespect to Chipping, they've had a really good start.
They got it forward, and like, look how easy they carved forward on the goal. I don't care that we just scored. Look how easy they carved us open on that goal. That's my worry. I was sat there going, "Wow, defense looks really good in the first half," and then they just had one ball. Everyone was out of position. Goal 1-1.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we definitely look more stable and on with 4 at the back. And I think once the injury problems, go away, then you can kind of look, right, okay, now let's see how we really get on now with our proper 11.
I agree.
Yeah, but we've got these youngsters at the back. It's tough for them. It's tough introduction, especially with our ambitions of promotion, which we definitely, as a fan base, we should expect to be up there. We really should. I suppose the only good thing at the moment is we're only 3 games in. It's a long season, 46 game season.
Yeah, I agree.
4 out of 9 points is disappointing. I was expecting a minimum of 7.
Yeah, we've on that as well.
Yeah, but there you go. It's early days. There's still plenty of time for a lot of things to happen. I mean, look at some of the results in the National League South. I mean, it's crazy league. Absolutely crazy league.
By some teams, like fair play. It's just I don't understand how something, it's brilliant in some ways for a league. It's going to be a cracking league, and it's embarrassing on us, but fair play to some of those teams. Like seriously, really good stuff that some of them have done like that. So, crikey, we've got to work out here. Is my opinion. Anything you'd like to add?
No, nothing. I guess we go into score predictions for Saturday.
It's so quiet, 2 of us, isn't it, Tom? just I'm just used to all that other stuff. All the other riffraff.
Peaceful, isn't it? You can get stuff done.
Yeah, so I can sit here and relax. Right, predictions. Now, I would like to point out a lot of Twitter notification when I was on holiday asking if I was on drugs. I better not get. I was going to say demonetized. I don't get paid anyway. But the predictions I made was before the game of before the Worthing game for last night's game, and my position is I don't change it. Also, well done to all the people who have been predicting still and ones who have got correct scores. Chris got one who wants us to know. I've been away on holiday, so I've got a spreadsheet there. I just need to add it all up and put the points. We'll put the points actually because we're 3 games in now. We can start seeing who's predicting what. We'll put it out tomorrow or whenever. So thank you for everyone who's been doing that. I'm not very good at predicting football. I think that's quite obvious at this stage. But anyway, predictions, next 2 games. What are we going for? Are we just going for 1 or are we going for 2? Where are we at? So
just 1, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
St Albans.
St Albans. Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Well, I must say, even before last Saturday, I wasn't particularly confident going into St Albans. And I just think with all the knocks we've picked up, I mean, it's going to be a very tough place to go. I'm afraid, Yellow Army, I'm going for a 2-1 St Albans.
Well, I mean, that's fair enough. I'm not confident we're going to win, but we've had a Norfolk Victoria moment. Now we're going to have a Cambridge away moment. I'm saying 1-0 Torquay. 90th minute winner. Play terrible. Scrapper result. Gary Johnson out for 85 minutes. And then Gary Johnson in for the last 5. It's going to come off like Jarvis's shin or something. Win 1-0. And then another 3 points in the bag. That's what I'm going for. No 4-1s this week.
No, I think we've learnt our lesson, haven't we?
Yeah. What about the other 2? Because they have said it in a WhatsApp chat. Can you remember what they say? I will check now. I reckon Chris has gone 2-2. What do we reckon?
No, definitely not.
Dom's gone 2-2. All right, Dom has gone 2-2, viewers. I feel like Chris went 2-0 Torquay. All right, so with Chris gone 2-0, Dom's gone 2-2. You've gone St Albans 2-1.
Yeah, clean sheets. I'm not sure.
We've all gone ranged. We've all gone ranged.
But this is the thing as well. It's like I agree with you, Sam. It's like I don't like changing my predictions after I've made them. And had I changed my prediction, I definitely would have lost out on some points from last night.
There we go.
Method to the madness.
Method to the madness. But no, let's keep that prediction league up. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'll always follow like the top 10 or something and the correct scores. So yeah, thank you for everyone who's been doing that. That's been really cool. I've really enjoyed it. And I don't think there's anything else to add apart from keep surviving, I was done after 2 games this season, but it's not the stuff we wanted. But let's just keep behind the team and we'll see where it goes.
See you at St Albans on Saturday.
Thank you for joining me, Tom.
Pleasure, mate. Hopefully the other two will be with us soon.
Yes.
We definitely have missed you guys.
We generally have missed you. And we'll see you next week.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay! Chris Hargreaves, the captain! If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells!